crew. It's your boy Hendo. What up, though?
What's good, ladies and gents? It's your boy Big Mike, and it's a pleasure to meet your eardrums.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace, just here trying to speak my mind.
What's the word? Your boy Terrence here. I was trying to get you something new to ponder on. Today's episode will be discussing stigmas in the community, the African American community. There's a lot of stigmas that come with the African American community. Some of them are few. Everybody shouldn't know. Not being black enough.
What they call them, Oreos?
Yeah, Oreos. Even not being completely black, but just still be like the Oreo within.
Mm-hmm.
Just hanging with the crowd, the more white crowd, and doing more what they doing.
Or just the way you talk.
Or the way you talk. Just come around. The kids that probably taught up the way slang. Hot and all that. You come in talking some regular. Hey, how's it going, bro?
Talking that proper King's English, right?
Everything from around here. It's where you from. Stuff like that. And that's just one of the stigmas that, I used to go to a school out in the suburbs that, dealing with kids that, been in the suburbs school for years now, that's different. Not being black enough, wow, I never experienced that. Hey, this is what it is. That's your background. That's your background. You just gonna learn. People gonna be different.
Exactly. All of us are different, man. We all got different tastes. We all got different favorite things, different least favorite things. But that's what's so great about humanity, right? Like we all different. That's what brings us together, because we all different. We got things to talk about. We got experiences. You might like this movie. You might tell me come watch this movie with you. Now I found out I like it.
Yeah, different tastes.
And it doesn't matter if you white or black. You know what I'm saying?
And they say opposites attract. You know what I'm saying? You might like something different that I never even thought about. Like, attracting to that. I might like something different that you might not ever thought about.
Or just experienced.
Yeah, I mean, because life is all it is experiences, man.
Right. Probably not even giving that person you considering not being black enough a chance to get to know them. Probably just like y'all said, something that attracting to you, just something new interest. I never knew about that, or I never knew about that subject. You just want to shed some light on things. That'd be cool.
But you won't know unless you give them a chance. Yeah. And I personally don't want an Oreo that don't have cream in it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's true though.
On a serious note, man, a lot of African Americans, we all deal with mental health issues, and we all always go seek treatment or go seek help. We all feel like, why?
Most of us,
It's frowned upon, we can handle it on our own. Why should I? Don't go telling everybody your business.
Yeah, hold it in. Yeah, be a man.
They crazy.
Be a man.
Yeah. Or they call you weak. You either crazy or you weak.
You crying or you ain't no man.
Man up.
Man up.
Talking from the male perspective, because we all men.
We all men up here, right?
But we all got the same emotions, though.
We do,
Exactly. We all share the same exact gauntlet of
we all
emotions.
got feelings that need to be let out one way or another. So,
but most people don't always ask how you doing, or some people might want to hear how you doing. But some people might not care how you doing, so they're not gonna ask you how you doing. So they continue living their life.
Right.
Or they just might need a smile. Or a smile.
They might just need a smile, but probably that day I'm not smiling at nobody.
That's true.
They probably be upset with themselves, or upset with something going on with their life. You might need to smile, and I'm not the person. I'm supposed to be the person you need to smile, and then you don't get a smile at all. I'm just walking past you.
Because you're being selfish, right?
Being selfish is dealing with your problem.
I mean, and sometimes it's not even like being selfish. I mean, in a lot of cases it is. Like, some people just mean to be mean.
Just to be mean, right?
You just holding on to stuff
That's
you not need to hold on to.
Because I hate my job. I deal with that all the time in my job.
But,
so
I mean, like you were saying, like sometimes you might walk past somebody and they may be the person that needed to smile at you that day. And they can't smile at you because they dealing with something. Maybe the person that was supposed to smile at them that day dealing with something too. And like, real talk, like the butterfly effect, man, all of this stuff sometimes can be led back to, like what Ace was saying, maybe one person just needed a hug that day to set off the whole chain of smiles
Right.
and they didn't get it. Or like Ted, you saying maybe you just need to hear how you doing. And maybe that could have set off a whole chain of smiles and a whole chain of people asking how you doing and a whole chain of people expressing themselves.
Yeah, and getting love.
Instead of sharing love, we sharing our depression and our weight.
Getting that weight off your chest. Like that's something you've been holding on at. It's simple. How you doing? Probably from the right person. You feel comfortable expressing how you feel. And how you doing? You can get so much like expressing how you feel.
Or even if it's not verbally, it can be written down. You can physically write it down. Sometimes it's good to just see it on paper, just to again just release it somewhere else.
It's something that different think on things or just write it down. Like, let me just write it down. Most people like they just want to hold it in and try to deal with it by itself because they probably taught like
that's how they were taught. That's how I was taught. That's how I was taught. But now that's legit. All I do, I got a whole notebook and I just write literally everything. I tell my wife don't read my notebook, but literally like everything in it.
It's a lot of things in African American culture that's taboo, man.
Yeah,
like different over here, probably might different from over Eastern culture.
Good that you brought that up, man, because I was literally talking to a Hebrew Israelite brother earlier, and he was just dropping so much light, man. Like, of course, he was telling me about African American history and people over here, our history, and how people are so disconnected with things. But one of the things that he brought up, which is a huge stigma over here, is like the way that people can have relationships. Like, when I say that, I'm talking about an uncle marrying a niece, or cousins getting married, or this family had this baby and this family had a baby and they plan to get together because they about to form this superpower family, and they arranged this marriage. Like, over here we looking at all of this stuff as crazy, man. Miss me with all that. Like, nah, bro, you cousin marrying cousin, uncle, nah, bro, like, get on with that. But everywhere else in the world, literally, this is how they living. Like, this is just everyday life.
It's funny you say that because I was just watching something on YouTube where they were saying there was a guy from Egypt and he had two daughters that were top of the class. They both went to Harvard, and he wanted them to he already was taking them back to Egypt and getting their husbands. And they were from America for their mom was from America and they wanted to do American things. And he went so far as to shoot both of them in the head in the back of the cab because they didn't want to be,
he
wanted to be so
daughters?
controlled. Yeah, he wanted to be so controlling of them. Control everything about them, and he was sexually abusing them when they were young. He beat them so they could recant their story, and their mom made them recant their story. And it's so crazy about
being sexually abused, child being sexually abused. It's a lot that happened in the African American community. A lot of people are not telling. Like you said, probably could be an uncle or somebody touching on a kid, but not. You never know.
Sure, yeah.
But it's something like never been told. Like it's a secret, a family secret.
And like,
in-house.
And my bad, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but like going back to things being taboo over here and being normal on the East. Like, okay, just separating what it is, because it is what it is. We live a certain way over here, like, period. So everybody brought up over here, like, we are trained to think this way. So even if, let's say, somebody came over from Ghana and they're like, oh, well, I can look at my niece, that's okay. I can marry my niece, that's okay. And they decide to make a move. You don't know, like, coming from here and that being a taboo, man, that is gonna destroy you mentally. The person that growing up in the West, because the whole way that we think is, oh no, that's wrong. Like, period.
That's
like it's wrong. So it doesn't matter like what mindset you may be in. You have to think about the mindset of the people that you are with. You have to think about the mindset of the person that you are affecting. Like, it's so many different things, man. So many things that can get into people, and so many spirits that can rub off on people because one person did this and then it got passed down to this person, and it's getting passed down generation to generation, and that stuff happens, man, and it builds up. And like, going back to the conversation with the Hebrew brother, he was telling me, back when slaves, if you have this land and the slaves are separated and they're in this land, and between them and master's house there is literally just space. It's acres and acres and acres of space. and all they have is the people that live with them, and they have their culture. So what they were doing to multiply was what we see as taboo right now. Like, that's just going into the history of it, because it's not even so far away. Like, the history is not so far back to where it's completely unfathomable, like how these things happen. And a lot of times it's just passed down. Like, if you go back a couple hundred years, man, you may have this uncle that married this niece, these cousins that married and had this, and you know, your family tree is growing. Exactly. But the difference though is back then it was like out of necessity. That's how else would you procreate?
Oh, yeah.
But now, with it being so taboo and with it being so many people in the world, so many people in our country, like it's really no excuse for not living the westernized way if you're living in the West. Definitely now.
Yeah, definitely lust. Like, lust is like selfless. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to marry my niece. I'm going to do this and live this way. I don't care how, I'm saying, I don't know how the majority of people are thinking or listening or whatever. And it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's crazy, but it's just like, just think that there's really people out there that still, you know what I'm saying,
yeah, man.
living that way.
It's like majority of the world is still living that way.
It's a whole
majority of the world living that way, thinking that way. But you know, like I said earlier, it could be a family secret. A child could have been uncles or whatever would happen that the family want to keep inside the family, like, because it's taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Not knowing, like, over in the East, it's normal. So, it's, you know, it's the stigmas of everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. But that one there, like, just having that conversation with the brother, like, it was just different, man. It was eye-opening. Not that it changes things.
No.
It doesn't change, like, because the status quo here is the status quo.
Yeah, something we just know that's right.
Yeah, but that history, to have the knowledge of that history, and to know, you know, some of the things that are passed down, like some of the mannerisms that we see that we try to hide away or tuck away, like some of that stuff is passed down, and some of it was passed down openly before, you know, it all became a taboo. So like, there are literally some people who think completely differently than what our regular societal status quo is, and it's just crazy because it's such a disconnect in so many places and with so many different people.
And that's the whole thing with stigma. There's always somebody thinking something other than another person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, coming up with anything. Well, we'll come up with stigma. You're not black enough, or you're not this and that, or, hey, not cool enough. Hey, we come up, within our own community, we create new stigma every day. Off something that, some popularity, some trend or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We can create a stigma off that. Like, it's something that we just need to stop completely. Stop judging one another. Like, just, hey, man, all right, it is what it is. We got the same background, probably come from the same situation. Mm-hmm. Ain't no need to put another stigma on you. Mm-hmm. Like, why am I putting a stigma on you to make you a statistic? Right. Like, come on.
And like, the best thing to do is to just be open about all of the stuff that's going on, because once we get that open line of communication, like, and we get past the, you know, oh, my family is going to be so let down, or, oh, you know, our family's name is going to be slandered because of this person. Like, no, bro. Like, maybe you may go through some stuff for a little while, but at the end of the day, it's got to go beyond just you. Like, you have to look towards the future, and you got to look for the people around you. Like, you got to look out for your people. But,
yeah, you got to look out for your people, man. Like, got to be like a village.
Exactly.
And that's something that was taught back in the day. Now it's like frowned upon. Like, you know, somebody telling the other person, kid, hey, stop doing that. They go, hey, don't tell my kid what to do.
Yeah, like
I thought that was supposed to be cool.
My kid got one parent.
Yeah, that's the man.
Oh, that's big nowadays.
They have one parent in the household. Stigma birthing and stuff. But it's a lot of two-parent households.
But yeah, let's not hold on to that part of the conversation too long. But We'll hit y'all back on the next part of this conversation about stigmas. And it's your boy Big Mike.
It's your boy Tez.
It's your boy Ace.
It's your boy Hendo. What up, dog?
Y'all stay basic out there.